Welcome, I'm Kinetic Symphony. This is Dave. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the supernatural. Case file number 1805, written by Do Strike 1670. A chill in the air, a shadow sweep, the night something moved without a peep. This happened a couple days ago, and I still haven't figured out what could possibly explain what I saw. So here I am. The other night I was laying on my bed in the bedroom, while my son was in the other room playing with his cars. I had been laying there for a couple of minutes. Let me explain the layout of the room so this makes sense. I have a Sensi plug-in light on the wall that I face. It is underneath the window in the room, and our dresser is to its left, my right, with the TV on it. The window has drapes that hang down below the window, but above the Sensi light. When it's turned on, the light is on, which it was at the time this happened. I was laying on the bed with my phone in my right hand, and my head was on a pillow, so I was comfortable looking at my phone. I was holding the phone, and behind it was a reflection of the light and drapes on the wall. I had no fans on, and the air conditioner was on but not running. The window was locked shut, so no draft was coming in. I was scrolling on my phone, and on the wall, it looked like something moved between the light and the wall. The drapes even had a little movement to them. From my perspective, it looked exactly like when a person walks between a light, and you see the shadow on the wall and see their figure move through it quickly. As soon as it happened, I jumped up and said, "What was that?" I got a little cold, and my son came into the room and asked, "What, Daddy?" He could see the look on my face, and I told him something weird just happened. We own no pets that could have done it without being noticed. I have a lot of background in the spiritual world, but not when it comes to this. So what could it have been? Because I definitely saw something move in front of the light, and the drapes started moving slightly. But nothing was there. Case notes for file 1805. A chill in the air, a shadow sweep. The night something moved without a peep. So, as people call them, shadow people, they are a feature of the multiverse. My theory is that they aren't ghosts, but they're individuals, souls, that are trapped between the universes. They couldn't cross over fully, and now they're in limbo state, but it's not their physical bodies, otherwise they would die of thirst and hunger and so on. It's their soul that is trying to incorporate into our universe, but they can't quite make it. They are trapped there, unlike a soul, which is just a fragment, an echo of the person that did live there, in that universe before. This is, I guess, sadder, you could say, because there's no way I know of to help them cross over and materialize into this world. Although the question for that then is, would they materialize into a copy of themselves in this universe? Or maybe as they were making the transition, the copy that was here died as well. So that's why they couldn't finish the transfer. Maybe that's why there are limbo states, buffer areas I like to call them, dead worlds where no one else is there or very few. Because if they don't do that, if the other copy of them dies while in transit, the data is kind of lost in limbo. That's a very sad thought, but I think it fits. Case file number 1806, written by Hey Booby. Objects that move and cigarettes that clone. Tales from a house that's never alone. We had a history of odd things happening in our old house that we can't really explain. One year, we had a friend over helping us wrap up our kitchen renovation. My husband and our friend Jay came inside, and Jay told him, "I thought you don't smoke Marlboros," pointed to a pack of marbles sitting in one of the open cabinets. My husband said, "I don't, that's your pack," and picked it up to give it to him. Jay reached into his pocket and pulled out a pack, saying they had been in his pocket the entire time. The packs were completely identical, down to having 3 cigarettes left in the exact same spot. Jay is the only person we know who smokes that kind of cigarette, and nobody else had been in our house all day anyway. And the kicker is, I had just painted the trim above that cabinet while they were outside, using the cabinet to set my rag down, and it had been completely empty then. As best we can figure, somehow the pack duplicated. It seems impossible, but we have no idea where else it could have come from. Jay is not great at keeping a straight face, and he was as shocked as we were, so I believe him that he didn't plant them there to mess with us. And we've had other weird object-related things happen that we can't explain. Like this one. One Saturday, not long after my husband and I moved into that house, I spent the entire day doing laundry. I was way behind because we had just moved, and things had been hectic, so I had about 10 loads to do. I started by sorting my first 4 loads: darks, lights, heavy duty, and delicates. I had 4 identical laundry baskets specifically so I could sort them like this. Throughout the day, I got into a good routine. I was using my baskets to cycle clean and dirty laundry from the bedroom to the washer and dryer, then back again. These 2 rooms are the only places I had the baskets. At the end of the day, I realized I only had 3 baskets. We never found that 4th one. Some other weird things had happened there. Once in the kitchen, I closed the fridge door as I was walking away, but I didn't use enough force and it stopped without catching. My dog was standing next to it, so I jokingly asked him to close it. The door closed. Another time, several similar things happened in 2 days. The first day I was in the bedroom facing the dresser when I heard my puppy come in. I turned around to see he had dug the cat food can out of the garbage. I told her to drop it and she did, directly behind me. I turned back to the dresser and heard a light clink, like metal dropping on metal. I turned and the lid to the cat food can was sitting propped up on the can. I'm positive it wasn't there when I had just looked, and my puppy was on the other side of the room. The next day I rolled out of bed, leaving my glasses on the nightstand, and headed towards the kitchen. I stopped to pet one of the dogs and heard a sound to my left, like something being dropped or falling on the carpet. I turned and my glasses were sitting on the carpet, neatly folded up how they had been on the nightstand. Later in the day, I was cleaning our guest room, and my cat knocked over the jewelry holder that had my wedding necklace on it. The holder was on the floor, but the necklace was nowhere near. Assuming it had fallen in one of the boxes nearby, I figured I'd find it later and kept on going. A few minutes later, I heard a noise in the same area, and there was my necklace on the floor. So some bizarre things happened there, but the overall vibe in the house was so positive and welcoming that even guests commented on it. I never felt threatened or freaked out, even when those crazy things happened. Caissons file 1806. Objects that move and cigarettes that clone. Tales from a house that's never alone. So this was funny because for whatever reason, I can't say Marlboros, blah, blah, blah. I had to take that line so many times and it still doesn't sound quite right. I don't know what it is, but why would you name your brand something that's so hard to pronounce? I don't know. That's a funny side note. But yeah, the first story about cigarettes, it's just a duplication event. Nothing crazy, but still interesting to read about. They always are. Wish it happened to me with something important, gold bars, silver coins, money, whatever. Food. Subway duplication would be my dream, I buy 3 footlongs, normally, chicken teriyaki, or just veggie sometimes when I'm feeling light. Probably eat 2 at once, maybe 2.5 if I'm feeling really hungry. And then put the other footlong in the fridge, and it never duplicates, sadly. I want it to. Come on, universe, do it. And then with the laundry, then it's not duplication, it's just disappearing, and the copy of you in a different universe probably had an extra basket, 5 baskets, filled with whatever clothes were in that basket, light, darks, whatever. A whole lot of things happened in that house, though. If you don't feel bad vibes, I would be very surprised if there was a malicious spirit there. They could just be ripples and anomalies, errors in the code in that particular server infrastructure that is governing that local area where your house is located. And if that's the case, you're not going to feel any bad vibes because there's no presence there to inflict that. It is just universal noise. Now time for the quote of the day. Dr. Ian Malcolm. Life finds a way. There's a microscopic form of life, I think it's a tardigrade or something like that, where it can live in space, it can go dormant in space, in a vacuum, it can live deep in the ocean where it's freezing, no matter the state, it has some mechanism to endure. They're extremophobes, I think they're called. Life will always find a way. We could, I was watching the Fallout show. It's able to blend both serious and comedic, lighthearted, almost absurd themes together in a way that somehow meshes, like it shouldn't, but it does. They did a good job on that. But it's the idea that, okay, we nuke the entire planet, but that's fine. Life will still persist. They'll find a way. They'll adapt. They'll evolve to that environment. Makes you wonder if there is life that has somehow adapted to living in space. You had a few stories like that in Star Trek, where there are creatures that are roaming between solar systems, just floating in the void. Maybe getting their energy from sunlight or, starlight that is in the general vicinity. You have the inverse square law, so whatever light there is out there would be very dim, but you have so much of it coming in. Maybe they wouldn't need much to survive. That's a tangent, but I guess it's applicable. Okay. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.